Okay, so let's continue our talk about AI engineering book. Some notes that I had. Uh, Today we're gonna talk about the chapter three, evaluation methodology. Um, yeah, so the first the first part of this chapter is designed to showcase why the evaluation matters for the AI applications, and basically that it is important because AI systems, now that we have these foundation models, are complex and it's difficult. It's a difficult task. So, unlike traditional machine learning engineering, generative AI outputs are more open ended. So, we don't have um, a single task, but the task will vary for different use case, and some use case might need more than one task, um, and we need to create robust evaluation pipelines so we can keep track on how good our systems are. So we need to ensure that the response are reliable, the response are safe, are secure, and that we could trust that data, that thought process, and we are not like harming the user. And I think that a big quote that we have in the book is that uh, Chip says that being able to build reliable evaluation pipelines, we will unlock many new applications. And that's pretty interesting to see because from the AI boom after the transformers, we see a lot of things evolving from the application side, but not in the evaluation side. So we don't have many tools to cover this speed in the way that we are creating new stuff. So this leads to applications that don't get more hype or do not get more value because they cannot be trusted. So we don't have the right material to evaluate this stuff. And I think that's the comment of Chip goes in that directions, and I agree 100%. So talking about the challenges involving the evaluation foundation models. Um, First, it's time consuming. Like for example, some tasks like book summaries like require experts judgment. So in order to transcribe all the data, making the pipeline to inject this to the summarization and get the final output, so we can understand that that output of the summarization makes sense for that book. We need to a human behind to make this judgment, and it's time consumed and also costly. As I mentioned, that the outputs are very open-ended, so we don't have like clear right and wrong answers. It's very subjective. Uh, as I already also mentioned, there's lack of systematic tools to evaluate. Um, so there's a many things that are evolving from this side, but still we lack many many stuff that we don't have right now to properly evaluate many of the tools that we design. And this like I don't think it is like it is challenging, but I think that it's inherent on all the machine learning stuff, which is the human dependency. So we need to have a human behind labeling stuff, saying what is right, what is wrong, giving like some base ground for the applications to grow. And I don't think that that will be like a blocker somehow, but an important requirement for any application that wants to go to the final user. We need to ensure that we have this human in the loop so we can evolve this application for something meaningful for people. Um, Talking, there's an important talk about the traditional language modeling metrics. So she mentioned that many of the stuffs that we use right now are are from the 50s. So the people that work on language models. So for example, the cross entropy that measures the difficulty in predicting the next token, perplexity that measures the uncertainty, like which is also calculated using the cross entropy, and the basically the interpretation of like lower complexity are more predictable data. For example, HTML and larger vocabularies will lead to more a higher perplexity. For example, and for a longer context, we have a lower complexity, lower perplexity. Sorry. And then like she talks about the categories of evaluation methods. So the first one is the exact evaluation. So when we have like a proper right versus wrong definition in our use case. So the first category is the exact evaluation, and one of the subcategories is functional correctness. So we have like a clear right and wrong standards, so we can measure a good and a bad output. Another case is the similarity measurements. So we have two in this case. The first one is text similarity. So we basically compare if the response look alike what in what when we have like a reference data and a output from the large language model. And the other is the semantic similarity. So instead of looking if they are look alike more broadly, we have the option to check if they mean the same thing. So behind this, we need like a human labeled reference data, so we can compare if the meaning are the same. Another topic that is covered here is the concept of AI as a judgment. AI as a judge. So like the idea is to how we leverage AI to make this evaluation in our pipeline. So this is not like a new idea. The book says that since 2017, there's some publications about this idea, and the idea is very simple, but has many benefits. So we don't need like reference data. We are flexible, so we can evaluate correctness, toxicity, repetitiveness, and we have in some case high correlation with human judgment. For example, for GPT 4.1, we have some case we have when we have consensus of 85%, which is pretty high. And yeah, I think for today we have many other improvements since the book was released. So yeah, it is still like a modern approach to evaluate um, AI applications. So how to prompt like an AI judgment? So basically we have some steps. So first you need to define your tasks. You need to specify the evaluation criteria. Choose the score system. The system, if it will be like a classification or right or wrong, if it will be discrete or continuous, uh, and optionally you can include some example to ensure consistency of the evaluation responses. But the author also raised a lot of concerns about this approach, some limitations. So it's not like a silver bullet. So it implies in some costs and latency. So if you have like a double API cost in your company, one for producing the output, another for evaluating that output. So you need to take that into account when you are proposing these in your team, in your company. Uh, there's some problems with inconsistency, given the non-linearity of the large language models. So they are probabilistic by nature. So the same prompt could lead to different results, and you need to deal with that. It could be like ambiguous. So different tools could define different criteria to evaluate. It have some bias, so some models might be more biased for example, for a political standpoint. than others. So we need to choose these carefully, but also have some bias on choosing the response. So there are some there are some studies that says um, that large language models may prefer first answers when comparing one more than one answer to say what is right or what is wrong. So there's some selection bias, and there's some trust issues that if you don't know which is the model that it is being used and which is the prompt that is being used, you don't know the evaluation for sure to guarantee that you can minimally reproduce or understand the problems with this evaluation. Lastly, they talk about the type of AI judgments. So, for example, you can use more stronger models to, which is includes the trade-offs of like being more accurate, but being more costly also in terms of token usage. You can use like weaker models. They are cheaper but less reliable. You can and also you can use the same model. So the same model that produced the output will make the evaluation. So in this case, you have the problem of self bias, but it could be like a very insightful tool for self critique and self improvement of the model, thinking on a feedback loop for the improvements of the application. There are some real reward models. So, for example, you can score the prompt and response pairs. So we can select the best one. We have there's another type, which is the reference based judgment, to that compares the ground truth. For example, Blur or Prometheus, and like there's another like the preference models that rank true response based on the human preference, so we can fine tune the model and have a stronger evaluation in the end of the pipeline. Uh, yeah, I think basically that's it from this chapter. In the next chapter, we will continue on this evaluation part, but we will go in more details about the how to evaluate end-to-end AI systems, which will be the chapter 4. I think that's it. See you in the next lesson. Bye bye.